Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 29th of May. The first important news, that is dengue has now become a nationwide infection after the cases that has been reported across different states. Second, ISRO launches GSLV NVS-1 NAVIC satellite. Third, that is the Prison Model Act 2023. These are the two news from the explained page of the Indian Express. Second last, that is joint malnutrition estimate that has been released. And the last is an editorial nutritional in a warm world. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do press a like button. And before I begin this session, just wanted to tell you a brief about the new parliament building that has been recently inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India. I'm not discussing this news in detail because this is something not relevant either in prelims or mains examination. If you want to read more, you can refer to this section. Something that is important about this parliament building is mostly you need to focus on the part of architectures, क्योंकि कई चीजें जो यहाँ पे यूज की गई हैं like Sangol, I've already made a discussion. There's a special video, right? So these become important, right? The discussion of this news of inauguration is not as such important, but some of the important component that is attached with the parliament inauguration is relevant for examination purposes, which I have already made a discussion. Do check out the video. So I'm not going to invest another time. We'll be moving with some important news analysis. So the first news of the day, that is dengue now the nationwide infection after the surge in the cases, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health, right? So this particular news is relevant in a way that there can be a question from science and tech portion also. So the cumulative dengue cases burden has attained an unprecedented post in recent time. The baat kare cases ki sharp increase in the cases has been reported across different states in the country. The dengue disease, which is highly complex pathopsychological, economic and ecological problem, right? The country is ready to welcome the southwest monsoon, और ये एक ऐसी temperature change होती है जहाँ पे due to this weather change, the number of the cases in malaria, dengue, Zika and all other tend to surge. This is what the ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, has also confirmed in Indian context and Indian climatic conditions. Now, rural area की बात करें, rural area contribute approximately 32% of the total case for 2015-16, and this has increased to 41 to 45% as of now. So current की data की अगर बात करें is 41 to 45% of range. Now cases in India, specifically like which are the states that has a number of cases on the high. So India has recorded 63,280 cases. This is as of September 30, 2022, according to the data that was released by the National Center for Vector-Borne Diseases, right? Or every state and union territories has been reported with the dengue cases in the year 2022. So this is again something which Government of India need to cognizance with the number of the cases and even to ensure that we are taking all precautionary measures. Now, this has been the case for the past 5 years, and virus is endemic in India. So specifically, there can be a statement in prelims examination stating this detail. However, only 5 states like Delhi, Haryana, Karnataka, Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu have reported more than 100 dengue cases in this particular time. And the cases has been increasing rapidly in Maharashtra and Kerala for the next decade that has largely remained concentrated in the 7 states. Now, Nagaland was the only state and Lakshadweep the only UT that has been reported with 0 dengue cases during this time. So these 2 states are exempted and even the cases were not reported. Now, if you see the part of the cases that is there, this is a graph to give you the complete trend part for since 2009. The surge was witnessed in 2017, there's a decline, but again, the trend is ongoing, and even the government need to take cognizance, and the national policy and state policy in this regard is a mandate. Now, what are the factors that is contributing? So the burden of dengue has been linked to the climate change, and even there are other factors that is also there. According to ICMR and National Institute of Malaria Research, they have noted the problem in the control of Aedes-borne diseases, and this is manifold. See, if you see the part of dengue, some of the preventive methods or measures that can be taken at the individual and at the household end can help to reduce the part of the dengue case, right? Now, there should be no contamination of water. This is the first and foremost criteria. You should have a hygiene place. कई ऐसे जगह हैं, the flower pots, we're using cooler or any other stuff. The water contaminations or the water accumulation should not be there. And something cleaning part is mandatorily required in that regard. So a day bit habit like is multiple pitting, long incubation period, fast transport, eggs have seen a surge in the year containing breeding, human environment and intimating water supply and poor waste management at construction site add more to the problem. Now, WHO की क्या estimates हैं इस regard में? WHO ने अपनी global indices of dengue में बताया है that over the recent decade, half of the world population is now at the risk of dengue. And ICMR has said the risk of dengue is now endemic and is more than the 100 countries and propelled by the several factors that include the climatic change, increased urbanizations and increased travel. So these are the other factor that has been categorically highlighted by the Indian Council for Medical Research. Now, what are the next course of action? Definitely there's always a preventive way. So the next course of action that is suggested by ICMR expert is to working on a developing of a vaccine. See, vaccine is something that will call for a lot more repression to this particular dengue. And even the vaccine is incorporated, the passes of the disease to future generation will be completely stopped. So they are also looking for increasing the awareness to promote the prevention part. People participation is very important. Latest technology, including satellite imaging, drone to map up the vulnerable area, should also be taken into consideration. Now, moving to the other news, ISRO launched GSLV and VS1 NAVIC satellite, something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Achievement of India in Science and Technology, Indianization of Technology, and Development of New Technology. The launch has already taken place. When I'm recording this lecture, the launch has already been taken place by ISRO. So Indian Space Research Organization launched the first of the second generation satellite of its navigation constellations. NVS-1 is the inaugural satellite of the second generation satellite that was planned as a series of NAVIC and intended to enhance the services that is introducing with the new features to the system. What all new features are there, I'll discuss in a while. But before that, you need to understand what is this is the pictures, just to give you a brief idea. These are the pictures of the satellite launch, which has already taken place today. And a brief about NAVIC become important, and you must know what is NAVIC. So developed by ISRO, it's a regional navigation satellite system, consists of 7 satellites in orbit working in conjunctions with ground stations. Now it offers navigation satellite both for the general and strategic uses, including the armed forces. So this is again an important statement to be noted specifically for prelims examination. The system was developed to meet the growing need, चाहे वो civil aviation के sectors हों या फिर improving the part of the positioning system, India की navigation satellite हो या फिर timing improve करने में, overall this has contributed. Now the coverage area extend beyond the India's border, reaching up to 1500 kilometers. Again, important factual information. Now the NAVIC utilizes various domains of terrestrial, aerial, marine transportations, and even the location-based services, personal mobility, resource monitoring, surveying की बात करें, even scientific research, disseminations and synchronization, ये सारी चीजें हैं, and even safety of life alert distributions will be taken care and actually will be the part of the NAVIC system. Now, what is the new in the part of the second generation NAVIC satellite? This is again something very important for science and tech portion. Even in science and tech, these type of question is something that is asked repeatedly in UPSC examination. The second generation satellite NVS1, like something, what is there? So it has an atomic clock, right? What is this atomic clock? This satellite will be of a rubidium atomic clock that is on board with the significant technology that is developed in India. So this is a indigenous technology that India is using, and space qualified rubidium atomic clock is indigenously developed by Space Application Center in Ahmedabad, and it is an important technology which will not only which is actually with handful of countries, not almost all countries are having it, or even the country that is having the navigation satellite. Now India has made a surge in this regard where the atomic clock is already placed. Now the second is L1 signal for better use in the wearable devices. This frequency is among the most common. और अगर बात करें GPS की, that is the global positioning system, will increase the use of regional navigation satellite in the wearable device, personal tracker, and the low power signal frequency chips. So this is how the GPS system will be improved, and GPS is a component which is used by most of us in our wearable devices, even in the cell phones. Now, longer mission time, the second generation satellite will have a longer mission for like more than 12 years, and existing satellite have a mission life of 10 years. Now, what is the advantage? Definitely you need to know the advantages. This is again relevant for both prelims and mains examination. If you're writing in mains, you can highlight the advantages. First advantage, that India is the only country to have a regional satellite navigation system. और इस तरह के जो navigation satellite है वो सिर्फ अभी US के पास है, अमेरिका GPS, रशिया GLONASS, and even European Galileo and Chinese Bullet. और जापान की अगर बात करें, जापान has the fourth system that can augment the GPS in the country similar to the Gagan. This was a question that was asked in yesterday UPSC CSC prelims examination. अगर बात करें UPSC prelims examination की, CSC 2023 में ये सवाल पूछे गए थे, and Japan was the only correct option. If you have marked, you would have got 2 marks. Now the NAVIC provide coverage to over India mass and over the radius of 1500 km now. NAVIC signal come under the 90-degree angle, making it easier for each device to be consecutive area, dense forest and mountain. And GPS signal are received over India at right angle. So this is the reason that discussion of newspaper and watching of the analysis is very important. You get a direct question from this, right? Not all the question, but even it contribute and help you a lot. Now, total IRNS in the operations की अगर बात करें, there is some satellite which is there. So there are a total of 7 satellite which is there. और अभी इस बार जो GSLV NVS1 launch हुई, it is the highest one. So these are again some important factual information that you to keep in mind. Now, moving to the other news, that is Model Precision Act 2023, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs has announced that it will finalize the preparation of Model Precision Act that will replace 130-year-old colonial law that was there in the country. तो चेंजेस और रिफॉर्म की बात की गई है, जहाँ पे जो पहली लॉज थी, colonial laws that call for redistributive deterrence, now government is looking for reform and rehabilitation. So this can be a tagline, even you can use this in essay paper, in the punchline. Now the salient feature of the Modern Prison Act, first it called for provision for the security enhancement for segregation of the prisoners. Individual sentences की planning की गई है. Grievance redressal mechanism is put in place so that it help the part of prisoners to address the grievances. Establishment of the Prisoner Development Board. This will be again complementary to the part of grievance redressal, and focusing on physical and mental well-being of the prisoners. Now the act also include the provisions of use of technology, ताकि जो prisoners के administrations में technology incorporate की जा सके वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग की हेल्प से, कोर्ट में और साइंटिफिक टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरवेंशन से प्रिजनर्स को हेल्प मिले अपने पूरे एग्जीक्यूशंस में, डे टू डे वर्क में. It also includes the provisions of punishment for the prisoners of the jail staff using the prohibited items like mobile phone in jail. There have been several cases in different states and central jail reporting the part of the mobile phone uses. The act also focuses on vocational training and skill development in the prisoners to facilitate and they're reintegrated into the society. Most of the prison in country are operating with motivational talks, even yoga classes. But vocational training is something that has been introduced to impart them with some skilling and knowledges. Now, what were the previous laws? Just brief that you wanted that you should know. So that was actually 1894 और इसमें जो provision थी prison को define की गई थी, that is a place used permanently and temporarily under the place of special order by the state government और detentions के लिए रखी जाती थी. 1894 की act dealt with the provisions for accommodations, food, clothes, bedding, segregations and discipline of the prisoners including the solitary confinement. The Prisoners Act of 1900 was introduced with an objective to consolidate the part of several acts of the prisons and replacing the separate enactment of the single act that is expressed more simply and intelligibly. Now, the other important point that you should know is that the Model Prison Act is binding on state or not. So there can be a reason accession question which has recently been incorporated in the UPSC examination, जहाँ पे आपसे 2 स्टेटमेंट में सवाल पूछे जाते हैं. तो मेक श्योर इस तरह के डिस्कशन से आपको हेल्प मिले. As per the provisions of the Constitution, prisons and the prison detained totally fall under the state list. तो सारी प्रोगेटिव जो है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास होती है. This means it's a state responsibility to manage the prisons solely vested with the state government, right? However, MHA has stated that owning a critical role pave an efficient management of the criminal justice system. Center find it crucial to support the state and UTs in this regard. Now, the ministry has also clarified with the announcement of 2023 Act, it must serve as a guiding factor to the state. ये mandatory नहीं होगी, but this will be acting as a guiding and a guideline to all the state, and they should be adopting it within their jurisdiction. And the Union Home Ministry will be definitely accordingly finding it feasible to provide the guidance at the right time. Now, these are the other details. If you want to read more, you can pause this video and you can read out whatever we have discussed can be summed up with this slide. Now, moving to the other news, joint malnutrition estimate has been released, something important for general studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health. Now, the first and foremost point that become important with regards to the joint malnutrition estimate is which among the following organization is associated with it. First is UNICEF, WHO and World Bank. Very, very important point. Take a note of this. Now, the new estimate which was released has noted that the global and regional trend in that India continued to show the reductions in stunning record of 1.6 crore and children under the 5 then in 2012. So this is a comparison that has been made. However, the wasting continued to remain a concern and does not have a level to add the obesity. So 3 facets or phases of malnutrition की अगर बात करें, stunning where 149 million people are there, 45 million people are wasting and 39 million are overweight. Now, the finding of the joint malnutrition estimate, stunning की अगर बात करें among the children, 5 years of age has been dropped, the rarest with a prevalence of 41.6% to 31. ये आप देख सकते हैं changes जो लाई गई हैं, and even from 52 now it is 36 lakh, right? So this was accompanied by India's share in the global stunning that was declined from 30% to 25%. Now, global stunning has declined from the prevalence rate that is 26.3% to 2012 to 22.3% in 2022. Wasting की अगर बात करें, the overall prevalence of wasting was 18.7% and India's share 49% of the global burden. Obesity, the heavyweight, the people who are overweight up above their BMI index. So the prevalence of the obesity marginally increased in the decade, that is 2.2% from 2.28. And the number earlier it was 2.2, now it is 2.28. The current is 2.8, and the number has grown to 31.8 lakh from 27 point, and these contribute 8.8 of the global shares. But overall, classifications की अगर बात करें, obesity is low as much as than in the global prevalence to 5.6%. Now, in line with the National Family Health Survey के अगर data के साथ commensurate करें, so this can be commensurated with the part where the data estimate that the prevalence of 3.5 against 38%, and the relative contribution of India to the global burden from 29% to 24%. And the National Family Health Survey shows that the evidence of continued reductions in stunning and instances overweight children through anemia was disappointing. Now, the children at the risk, the malnutrition in the cities, India rank among 5 bottom countries in terms of malnutrition. Bihar, MP, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan are the 5 states with highest level of malnutrition. 37% of children are under the age of 5. 34% of children in India is underweight of 5. And every 5 undernourished children is world living. So these are some of the data that you must know, from factual information that will help you even in the mains examination. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, nutrition is a warmer world, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is the conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and EIA. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first the theme and focus of this article, that is nutritional security and climate change, immediate impact of climate change, WMO की क्या forecast है, World Meteorological Organization, what can Indian policy maker do and the way forward. So looking to the part with the background, so if you look into the part of Hiroshima summit, which recently concluded at the G7, they have stressed the peak for greenhouse gases emissions that is actually about to reach by 2025. So this is the situation which called for an urgency and a proactive efforts from all the member countries and the developed countries. So there was an agenda that was put in place. This agenda is known as acceleration agenda for the G7 countries, which call for a net zero emissions by 2040. And emerging economy से ये की गई है टारगेट करे वो कि net zero emissions by 2050 तक अचीव की जा सके. China has committed net zero emissions by 2060 and India by 2070. Now, immediate impact of climate change की अगर बात करें, there has been a decremental effect. Now, the emerging trend in the climate change may not have humanity to the luxury to be late. बहुत ज़्यादा हमारे पास अफोर्ड करने के लिए टाइमिंग नहीं है, and even we do not have opportunity, we need to work in a very conclusive way. So there are several costs that is inflicted in human lives. Even if you see agriculture sector, every 1 degree is increase that has been reported even compared to the pre-industrial level. And India has the largest workforce which is engaged in agriculture, and this is contributing to some extent in the part of the global warming. The impact of climate change may be disappointing for India. Now, WMO की क्या forecast है? World Meteorological Organization ने forecast किया है that global near surface temperature की बात करें, it can increase from 1.8 to 1.8 annually from 2023 to 27. So this 5-year will be surge of the temperature. It anticipates that the temperature will exceed by 1.5 above the pre-industrial level for at least 1 year within the period. Now, according to the Indian Meteorological Department, India experienced the 5th hottest year record in 2022. Now, what can India policymaker do? What are the, the part of the efforts that is required? So the need of the hour is to focus on agriculture research, development, education, and extension. So R&D is something that is essentially very important. And ARD is critical for improving the efficiency of the uses of the natural resources such as soil, water, and air. The development of seeds that is even more heat resistant is already a reality. So some other part of innovation will definitely call for to control the part of the global warming. Now, precision agriculture, deep irrigations result in the large water saving. Implementation of the sensor-based irrigation system, for example, enable the automated control and improving the resource and use efficiency. The fertigations and development of nano fertilizers can not only save the fertilizer subsidy but also reduce the carbon footprint. Now, way forward की अगर बात करें, how the way forward can be concluded in this regard. So if you look into the part of the crucial part, the acknowledgement of, despite the fact the expenditure on agriculture research, development and education is a mandate, India need to double the part of budgetary allocations for ARDE, that is the agriculture research, development, education and extensions. And in this context, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया है, फर्टिलाइजर सब्सिडी पे भी ध्यान देने की जरूरत पड़ेगी, क्योंकि पावर सब्सिडी, फर्टिलाइजर सब्सिडी, दिस इज अल्टीमेटली गिविंग एक इनडायरेक्ट प्रॉब्लम है इन्वायरमेंट के लिए, उसकी जगह पे 1% एक्स्ट्रा जो है वो ARD पे इन्वेस्टमेंट की जा सकती है, ताकि उसकी जो जो वैल्यू है, खास करके contribution to the society in terms of food and nutrition security and even managing the climate change will be on a higher side. Along with the substantial increase, the budgetary of ARDA, the government need to realign the expenditure, and even they need to reduce a part of fertilizer subsidies and power subsidy, meeting the climate change challenges. So they need to have a balanced out procedures so that everything is put in place. Research and development subsidy accordingly should be there so that it does not even stress the farmer, which is again an important point for country. So this is how the way forward can be concluded. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is D. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice, that is antimicrobial resistance. It occurs when bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasite change over the time, no longer respond to the medicine, and the drug resistance of antimicrobial and anti-medicine become ineffective. So do check out for the correct option. Second question, that is the lead saw-fed turtle. Consider the following statement. A freshwater saw-fed turtle is endemic to peninsular India. It is classified as endangered by IUCN. So do check out for the correct option, which among the following is the correct one. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.